What is Great Enlightening Being's concentration of knowledge of the adornments of Buddhas of all worlds? Why is this concentration called knowing the adornments of Buddhas of all worlds? Great enlightening beings in this concentration can successively enter the worlds of the East, can successively enter the worlds of the South, West, North, Southeast, Northeast, Southwest, Northwest, Zenith, and Nadir. They can successively enter all these worlds and see the Buddhas emerging in the world, and also see all the spiritual powers of those Buddhas, and can also see all the feats of those Buddhas, and can also see the immense charisma of those Buddhas, and also see the supreme freedom of those Buddhas, and also see the great lion roar of those Buddhas, and also see the practices cultivated by the Buddhas, and also see the various adornments of the Buddhas, and also see the psychic projections of the Buddhas, and also see the vast congregation of those Buddhas, the unity of the congregations, the multiplicity of congregations, the locations of the congregations, the abodes of the congregations, the development of the congregations, the training of the congregations, the dignity of the congregations. All this they clearly see. They also see the size of the congregations equal to a continent, and also see the congregations equal to 4 continents, those equal to a solar system, those equal to a galaxy, those equal to a universe, those filling 10 sextillion Buddha lands, those filling countless Buddha lands. They see congregations filling as many Buddha lands as there are atoms in 100 Buddha lands, filling as many Buddha lands as atoms in 1,000 Buddha lands, filling as many Buddha lands as atoms in 10 sextillion Buddha lands, filling as many Buddha lands as atoms in countless Buddha lands, measureless Buddha lands, boundless Buddha lands, incomparable Buddha lands, innumerable Buddha lands, unreckonable Buddha lands, unthinkable Buddha lands, untold, inexpressible numbers of Buddha lands. They also see the Buddhas amid those congregations displaying various forms, various times, various lands, various transfigurations, various spiritual powers, various adornments, various masteries, various physical sizes, and various actions. The great enlightening beings also see themselves in those congregations, and see themselves preaching there, and see themselves receiving the words of the Buddhas, and see themselves comprehending interdependent origination, and see themselves poised in the air, and see themselves in the reality body, and see themselves not producing attachments, and see themselves not dwelling on discrimination, and see themselves being indefatigable, and see themselves entering into all knowledge, and see themselves knowing all meanings, and see themselves entering all stages, and see themselves entering all states of being, and see themselves knowing all expedient means of liberation, and see themselves in the presence of the Buddhas, and see themselves entering all the powers of enlightenment, and see themselves entering true thusness, and see themselves entering non-contention, and see themselves entering all truths. When they see in this way, they do not discriminate lands, beings, Buddhas, or phenomena. They do not cling to the body, to physical action, to the mind, or to the intellect. Just as things do not discriminate their essence and do not discriminate sound, yet their essence is not abandoned, and names do not pass away. In the same way, great enlightening beings do not abandon actions, according with the doings of the world, yet have no attachments to them. Great enlightening beings see infinite lights and colors, forms and features of Buddhas, perfectly developed, equal and pure, each one appearing clearly to their senses. Sometimes they see the various lights of the Buddha's bodies, Sometimes they see Buddha's auras to a depth of 1 fathom. Sometimes they see Buddha's bodies like blazing suns. Sometimes they see subtle hues of light of Buddha's bodies. Sometimes they see Buddha's bodies as clear, or they may see Buddha's bodies as golden, or as diamond-colored, or as violet, or as of infinite colors, or as sapphire. They may see Buddha's bodies 7 cubits tall, or 10 cubits tall, or 20 cubits tall, or 30 cubits tall, or up to 100 cubits tall, or half a league tall, or 10 leagues tall, or 100 leagues tall, or 1,000 leagues tall, or 100,000 leagues tall. Or they may see Buddha's bodies the size of a continent, or the size of 4 continents, or the size of a solar system, or the size of a galaxy, or the size of a universe, or the size of 100 universes, or the size of 1,000 universes, or the size of 100,000 universes, or the size of 10 quintillion universes, or the size of incalculable numbers of universes. In this way, enlightening beings see the Buddha's infinite colors, infinite physical forms, infinite manifestations, infinite lights, and infinite webs of light. The measure of those lights is equal to the cosmos, illumining all things therein, causing all to develop unexcelled knowledge. They also see the Buddha's embodiments without attachment, without obstruction, supremely pure. Enlightening beings see the embodiment of Buddha in these ways, yet the body of the enlightened does not increase or decrease. It is like space. In a wormhole in a seed it is not diminished, and in countless worlds it is not expanded. So it is with the bodies of the Buddhas. When they are seen as large, still there is no increase, and when they are seen as small, there is no decrease. Just as the moon is seen as small by people on earth, yet is not diminished, and is seen as large by beings on the moon, yet does not expand, so also do enlightening beings in this concentration see various transfigurations of the Buddha's bodies, according to their inclinations, receiving and retaining their verbal teachings, there being all the while no increase or decrease in the body of the enlightened. Just as after beings' lives end and they are about to be reborn, they are not apart from mind and what they see is pure, so also is what enlightening beings see, while in this profound concentration, utterly pure. Great enlightening beings in this concentration develop 10 kinds of rapidity, rapid growth in practices and fulfillment of great vows, rapid illumination of the world with the light of the teaching, rapid liberation of sentient beings by appropriate projection of the teachings, rapid manifestation of Buddha's pure lands according to the actions of beings, rapid entry into the 10 powers by impartial knowledge, rapid joining of the enlightened ones in their abode, rapid destruction of the armies of demons by the power of great compassion, rapid removal of beings' doubts, producing joy in them, rapid manifestation of spiritual displays in accord with dominant inclinations, rapid purification of worldly realms by means of various sublime expressions of truth. These enlightening beings also attain 10 kinds of truth seal, which stamp all things. 1. Having the same roots of goodness equal in all Buddhas of past, future, and present. 2. Attaining the reality body with boundless knowledge, same as all Buddhas. 3. Abiding in non-duality, same as the Buddhas. 4. Seeing the infinite objects of all times as all equal, same as the Buddhas do. 5. Gaining comprehension of the unobstructed realm of the cosmos of reality, same as that of the Buddhas. 6. Achieving the 10 powers, same as the Buddhas, being unhindered in function. 7. Having forever cut off opinions and passions, dwelling in the state of freedom from conflict, same as the Buddhas. 8. Ceaselessly teaching sentient beings, same as the Buddhas do. 9. Having ability to observe adaptive skill in knowledge and meaning, same as the Buddhas. 10. Being equal to all Buddhas, same as all enlightened ones. If great enlightening beings accomplish the techniques of this great concentration of knowledge of adornments of Buddhas of all worlds, they are teacherless because they can enter all principles and qualities of Buddhas by themselves, without depending on another's instruction. They are people of power because they can enlighten all sentient beings. They are pure because they know that the nature of mind is fundamentally pure. They are foremost because they can liberate all worldlings. They are comforters because they can awaken all sentient beings. They are stabilizers because they can establish in the family of Buddhas those who are not yet so established. They are true knowers because they enter the door of universal knowledge. They are without varying conceptions because what they say is non-dual. They abide in the treasury of truth because they vow to know all Buddha teachings. They are able to shower the rain of the teaching because they satisfy all beings in accord with their inclinations. It is like the god king Indra placing a jewel in his topknot. By the power of the jewel his majestic light becomes all the more effulgent. When the god king first obtained this jewel, he gained 10 things surpassing all the gods of the 33-fold heaven. 1. Color. 2. Physical form. 3. Manifestation. 4. Retinue. 5. Appurtenances. 6. Voice. 7. Magical powers. 8. Control. 9. Intellectual understanding. 10. Cognitive function. In these 10 ways he surpasses all the other gods of the 33-fold heaven. In the same way, when enlightening beings first attain this concentration, they gain 10 kinds of treasuries of great knowledge. 1. Knowledge illumining all Buddha lands. 2. Knowledge of the births of all beings. 3. Knowledge of how to make magical displays of past, future, and present. 4. Knowledge of all Buddha bodies. 5. Knowledge comprehending all Buddha teachings. 6. Knowledge embracing all pure phenomena. 7. Knowledge of how to cause all beings to enter the reality body. 8. Pure knowledge of the universal directly perceiving all things. 9. Knowledge of total freedom reaching the other shore. 10. Knowledge establishing all universal principles. Enlightening beings in this concentration also gain 10 kinds of extremely pure bodies of power. 1. Emitting unspeakably unspeakable numbers of light spheres to illumine unspeakably unspeakable numbers of worlds. 2. Emitting unspeakably unspeakable numbers of spheres of light of infinite colors to purify all worlds. 3. Emitting unspeakably unspeakable numbers of light spheres to pacify living beings. 4. Emanating unspeakably unspeakable numbers of bodies to be near to all the Buddhas. 5. Raining unspeakably unspeakable numbers of clouds of flowers of various wonderful scents to present to all Buddhas. 6. Magically producing unspeakably unspeakable numbers of various kinds of infinitely free miraculous effects to develop and mature sentient beings. 8. Crossing unspeakably unspeakable numbers of worlds in a single step in order to ask to hear the teaching from all the variously named Buddhas of the 10 directions. 9. Showing a body of immeasurably various forms, the crown of which none can see, so that all who see or hear of it will not have done so in vain. 10. uttering unspeakably unspeakable numbers of words to reveal countless secret truths to sentient beings. Once enlightening beings gain these 10 kinds of extremely pure body of power, they can cause sentient beings to attain 10 kinds of fulfillment. 1. They can enable sentient beings to see Buddha. 2. They can induce sentient beings to deeply believe in Buddha. 3. They can induce sentient beings to listen to the teaching. 4. They can cause sentient beings to know there is a world of Buddhahood. 5. They can cause sentient beings to perceive the miracles of Buddha. 6. They can cause sentient beings to recollect accumulated deeds. 7. They can cause sentient beings to perfect concentration. 8. They can introduce sentient beings into the purity of Buddhahood. 9. They can induce sentient beings to aspire to enlightenment. 10. They can enable sentient beings to fulfill enlightened knowledge. When great enlightening beings have caused sentient beings to attain these 10 kinds of fulfillment, they also perform 10 kinds of Buddha work for sentient beings. They perform verbal Buddha work to develop and mature beings. They perform physical Buddha work to train sentient beings. They perform mental Buddha work to purify sentient beings. They shake the world as Buddha work to make sentient beings give up bad tendencies. They perform Buddha work by expedient awakening to cause sentient beings not to lose mindfulness. They perform Buddha work by manifesting forms in dreams to cause sentient beings to be constant in right mindfulness. They perform Buddha work by radiating great light to embrace all beings. They perform Buddha work by cultivating the practices of enlightening beings to cause sentient beings to live by superior aspirations. They perform Buddha work by attaining perfect enlightenment to cause sentient beings to know illusion. They perform Buddha work by turning the wheel of the sublime teaching to teach sentient beings in accord with the time. They perform Buddha work by appearing to live for a certain span in order to tame sentient beings. They perform Buddha work by manifesting nirvana because they know sentient beings will become weary. This is the technical knowledge of the Great Enlightening Being's seventh great concentration, the concentration of knowledge of adornments of Buddhas of all worlds. What is Great Enlightening Being's concentration of the differentiated bodies of all sentient beings? Great enlightening beings in this concentration attain 10 kinds of non-attachment. Non-attachment in all lands, non-attachment in all places, non-attachment in all times, non-attachment in respect to all beings, non-attachment in respect to all phenomena, non-attachment in respect to all enlightening beings, non-attachment in respect to all enlightening beings' vows, non-attachment in respect to all concentrations, non-attachment in respect to all Buddhas, non-attachment in respect to all the stages of enlightenment. How do great enlightening beings enter into and emerge from this concentration? They enter this concentration internally and emerge externally. Entering externally, they emerge internally. Entering in the same body, they emerge in a different body. Entering in a different body, they emerge in the same body. Entering in a human body, they emerge in a yaksha body. Entering in a yaksha body, they emerge in a human body. Entering in a dragon body, they emerge in a titan body. Entering in a titan body, they emerge in a celestial body. Entering in a celestial body, they emerge in a Brahma king body. Entering in a Brahma king body, they emerge in a desire realm body. Entering in a heaven, they emerge in a hell. Entering in a hell, they emerge in the human world. Entering in the human world, they emerge in other realms of being. They enter in 1,000 bodies and emerge in one body. Entering in one body, they emerge in 1,000 bodies. Entering in 100 billion bodies, they emerge in one body. Entering in one body, they emerge in 100 billion bodies. Entering among people of the South, they emerge among people of the West. Entering among people of the West, they emerge among people of the North. Entering among people of the North, they emerge among people of the East. Entering among people of the East, they emerge among people of 3 continents. Entering among people of 3 continents, they emerge among people of 4 continents. Entering among people of 4 continents, they emerge among the different creatures of all seas. Entering among different creatures of all seas, they emerge among the spirits of all seas. Entering among the spirits of all seas, they emerge in the water element of all seas. Entering in the water element of all seas, they emerge in the earth element of all seas. Entering in the earth element of all seas, they emerge in the fire element of all seas. Entering in the fire element of all seas, they emerge in the air element of all seas. Entering in the air element of all seas, they emerge in all 4 gross elements. Entering in all 4 gross elements, they emerge in the truth of non-origination. Entering in the truth of non-origination, they emerge on the polar mountain. Entering on the polar mountain, they emerge on the mountain of 7 precious substances. Entering on the mountain of 7 precious substances, they emerge on the black mountain of various crops and forests of all soils. Entering on the black mountain of various crops and forests of all soils, they emerge in precious arrays of all flowers of sublime fragrances. Entering in precious arrays of all flowers of sublime fragrances, they emerge in the incarnations of all beings of the 4 quarters, the zenith and nadir. Entering in the incarnations of all beings of the 4 quarters, the zenith and nadir, they emerge in the beings of the solar system. Entering in the beings of the solar system, they emerge in beings of the galaxy. Entering in the beings of the galaxy, they emerge in the beings of the universe. Entering in the beings of the universe, they emerge in the beings of 100,000 billion universes. Entering in the beings of 100,000 billion universes, they emerge in the beings of countless worlds. Entering in the beings of countless worlds, they emerge in the beings of measureless worlds. Entering in the beings of measureless worlds, they emerge in the beings of boundless Buddha-lands. Entering in the beings of boundless Buddha-lands, they emerge in the beings of incomparable Buddha-lands. Entering in the beings of incomparable Buddha-lands, they emerge in the beings of innumerable worlds. Entering in the beings of innumerable worlds, they emerge in the beings of incalculable worlds. Entering in the beings of incalculable worlds, they emerge in the beings of unthinkable worlds. Entering in the beings of unthinkable worlds, they emerge in the beings of immeasurable worlds. Entering in the beings of immeasurable worlds, they emerge in the beings of unspeakable worlds. Entering in the beings of unspeakable worlds, they emerge in the beings of unspeakably unspeakable numbers of worlds. Entering in the beings of unspeakably unspeakable numbers of worlds, they emerge in impure beings. Entering in impure beings, they emerge in pure beings. Entering in pure beings, they emerge in impure beings. Entering in the eye, they emerge in the ear. Entering in the ear, they emerge in the eye. Entering in the nose, they emerge in the tongue. Entering in the tongue, they emerge in the nose. Entering in the body, they emerge in the mind. Entering in the mind, they emerge in the body. Entering in their own senses, they emerge in other senses. Entering in other senses, they emerge in their own senses. Entering in a single atom, they emerge in the atoms of countless worlds. Entering in the atoms of countless worlds, they emerge in one atom. Entering in hearers of Buddha's voices, they emerge in self-enlightened ones. Entering in self-enlightened ones, they emerge in hearers. Entering in their own bodies, they emerge in the body of Buddhas. Entering in the body of Buddha, they emerge in their own body. Entering in a single instant, they emerge in 100 million eons. Entering in 100 million eons, they emerge in an instant. Entering in the same instant, they emerge in different times. Entering in different times, they emerge in the same instant. Entering in the past, they emerge in the future. Entering in the future, they emerge in the past. Entering in past, present, and future, they emerge in a moment. Entering in a moment, they emerge in past, present, and future. Entering in true thusness, they emerge in verbalization. Entering in verbalization, they emerge in true thusness. It is as when a man is possessed by a demon. His body trembles and he cannot relax. The demon does not show its body. It causes the body of another to be that way. In the same way, great enlightening beings in this concentration enter concentration in their own bodies and emerge in others' bodies, enter concentration in others' bodies and emerge in their own bodies. It is like a corpse able to get up and act effectively through the power of a magic spell. Though the corpse and the spell are distinct, yet they can join together and accomplish things. In the same way, a great enlightening being in this concentration enters concentration in the same object and emerges in a different object, enters concentration in a different object and emerges in the same object. It is as a monk who has attained freedom of mind may make many bodies of one body, or one body of many bodies, yet it is not that one body vanishes and many bodies are born, or that many bodies vanish and one body is born. In the same way, a great enlightening being in this concentration enters concentration in one body and emerges in many bodies, enters concentration in many bodies and emerges in one body. Just as the flavor of soil is one while the flowers of the crops it produces are variously different, the flavors having difference even though the soil has no difference. In the same way, a great enlightening being in this concentration, though free from discrimination, may enter concentration in one element and emerge in many elements, or enter concentration in many elements and emerge in one. Great enlightening beings in this concentration are lauded for 10 praiseworthy qualities. They enter into true thusness, and so are called Tathagata, those who have arrived at thusness. They are aware of all truths, and so are called Buddha, enlightened. They are praised by all worlds, and so are called teachers of truth. They know all things, and so are called omniscient. They are resorted to by all worlds, and so are called refuge. They have mastered all teaching methods, and so are called guides. They lead all beings into universal knowledge, and so are called great leaders. They are lamps for all worlds, and so are called light. Their aspirations are fulfilled. They have accomplished salvation. They have done their tasks. They abide in unobstructed knowledge and individually know all things, so they are called adepts of the 10 powers. They thoroughly comprehend all cycles of the teaching, so they are called all seers. Great enlightening beings in this concentration also acquire 10 kinds of illumination. They acquire the light of all Buddhas because they are equal to them. They acquire the light of all worlds because they can beautify them all. They acquire the light of all beings because they go to pacify them all. They acquire the light of immeasurable expertise because they preach on the stage of the cosmos of realities. They acquire undifferentiated light because they know that phenomena have no differentiation in essence. They acquire the light of expedient means because they have realized freedom from desire for anything. They acquire the light of truth because their minds are equanimous in the realm of desirelessness. They acquire the light of mystic transfigurations pervading all worlds because they are ceaselessly empowered by the Buddha. They acquire the light of proper meditation because they reach the other shore of freedom of all Buddhas. They acquire the light of true thusness of all things because they can explain everything in a single point. Great enlightening beings in this concentration also attain 10 kinds of non-doing. The non-doing of physical acts, the non-doing of verbal acts, the non-doing of mental acts, the non-doing of spiritual powers, the non-doing of comprehension of the essencelessness of phenomena, the non-doing of knowledge of the non-dissolution of the force of actions, the non-doing of non-discriminatory knowledge, the non-doing of knowledge of non-origination, the non-doing of knowing things have no destruction, the non-doing of following the letter without destroying the meaning. When great enlightening beings are in this concentration, the innumerable realms are variously different, entering in one, arising in many, entering in many, arising in one, entering in the same one, arising in different ones, entering in different ones, arising in the same one, entering in the subtle, arising in the gross, entering in the gross, arising in the subtle, entering in the great, arising in the small, entering in the small, arising in the great, entering in the congenial, arising in the adverse, entering in the adverse, arising in the congenial, entering incorporeally, arising corporeally, entering corporeally, arising incorporeally, entering in the formless, arising in forms, entering in forms, arising in the formless, entering in arising, arising in entering. These are all realms of freedom of this concentration. It is as when a magician keeps repeating a spell, he can become able to cause various different forms to appear. The spell and the illusions are distinct, yet the spell can create illusions. Though the spell is just a sound, yet it can produce various illusory perceptions, various forms perceived by the eye consciousness, various sounds perceived by the ear consciousness, various smells perceived by the nose consciousness, various tastes perceived by the tongue consciousness, various feelings perceived by the body consciousness, various objects perceived by the mind consciousness. In the same way, the enlightening being in this concentration also enters concentration in sameness and arises from concentration in difference, enters concentration in difference and arises from concentration in sameness. It is as when the gods of the 33-fold heaven battled with the Titans, and the gods prevailed and the Titans retreated in defeat. The king of Titans was 700 leagues tall and was accompanied by several tens of millions of cohorts, yet by magic he led his army all at once into a hole in a lotus root. In the same way, the great enlightening being has already achieved the stage of knowledge of illusions. Knowledge of illusion is the enlightening being. The enlightening being is knowledge of illusion. Therefore, the enlightening being can enter concentration in the undifferentiated and emerge in the differentiated, can enter concentration in the differentiated and emerge in the undifferentiated. Just as when a farmer plants seeds in the field, the seeds are below yet the fruits grow above, so also does an enlightening being in this concentration enter concentration in one and emerge in many, enter concentration in many and emerge in one. It is as when the sperm and ovum unite and there is a living being conceived, at which time it is called an embryo. After this it lives in the womb for 9 months, and by the power of proper actions all its limbs and organs achieve completion and its consciousness is clear. That life energy and the organs and physical form are distinct. Yet by the power of action, that energy can make them gradually develop and experience various consequences of similar and different types, In the same way, the great enlightening being in this concentration, from the stage of embryonic omniscience, gradually grows in faith, understanding, resolution, and power, the mind broad, effortlessly and freely entering concentration in non-being and emerging in being, entering concentration in being and emerging in non-being. It is like the case of the palaces of water spirits, built on the earth and not in the sky. The water spirits also live in the palaces and not in the sky, yet they can create clouds spreading through the sky. The palaces that people may see when they look up, you may be sure are mirages, not water spirit palaces. Though water spirits dwell below, the clouds are spread above. In the same way, the great enlightening being in this concentration enters in formlessness and emerges amid forms, enters in forms and emerges in formlessness. It is like the case of the palace where the great Brahma king god of subtle light lives. Called pure treasury supreme of all worlds, in this great palace can be seen all the abodes of all the various creatures in all lands in the galaxy, as well as the natural and man-made features of those lands, even down to minute particles of dust floating in the air. All can be seen reflected in this Brahma palace, like seeing one's face in a mirror. The great enlightening beings in this great concentration of the different bodies of all sentient beings know all kinds of lands, see all kinds of Buddhas, liberate all kinds of beings, realize all kinds of truths, accomplish all kinds of spiritual practices, fulfill all kinds of understandings, enter all kinds of trances, produce all kinds of psychic powers, attain all kinds of knowledge, and live through all kinds of moments. Such great enlightening beings reach 10 kinds of other shores of spiritual powers. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers of the Buddha that extend throughout space and are present everywhere in the cosmos. They reach the other shore of enlightening beings, ultimately non-discriminatory free spiritual powers. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers of Buddha work, able to initiate the far-reaching practical commitments of enlightening beings and enter the gate of realization of thusness. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers, able to shake all objects in all worlds and purify them all. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers, able to freely know that the inconceivable results of actions of all sentient beings are all like illusory productions. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers, able to freely know the different characteristics, crude and subtle, those in entry and emergence, of all concentrations. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers, able to boldly enter the realm of the enlightened and therein produce great vows. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers, able to cause Buddhas to appear and teach, taming beings, causing them to be born in the family of Buddhas, causing them to enter the vehicle of Buddhahood and swiftly attain fulfillment. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers, able to comprehend all the countless esoteric statements and teach in such a way as to clarify countless aspects of truth. They reach the other shore of spiritual powers, able to cause the past, present, and future to appear in a single instant without depending on the numbers of days, nights, months, years, or epochs. This is called the technical knowledge of the great enlightening being's 8th great concentration, the concentration of the differentiated bodies of all beings.